Men, I need you to hear me right now, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you approach women, relationships, and even yourself for the rest of your life. You've been lied to by society, by movies, by social media, and maybe even by the women you've tried to impress. You've been told that the way to win a woman over is to chase her harder, buy her more, flatter her endlessly, and bend over backwards to meet her every need. And yet, despite doing all of that, she still doesn't want you. Or maybe worse, she pretends to want you until someone else shows up who actually sparks her desire. That's the harsh reality. But here's the truth that no one is telling you. Desire isn't something you buy. It's not something you beg for. It's not something you manipulate. Desire is something you inspire. And any man, yes, any man, can learn how to inspire it, even when she wasn't interested in the beginning. I want you to stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to make any woman want you, even if right now she doesn't see you in that way. Not through cheap tricks, not through manipulation, but through becoming the kind of man who naturally commands attraction. This isn't about pickup lines or cheesy tactics. It's about shifting your mindset, reclaiming your masculine energy, and embodying a kind of strength that women can't help but notice. Before we go further, I want you to subscribe. Not for me, but for yourself. Because if you've been struggling with women, with rejection, with feeling invisible, then what I share on this channel is your wake-up call. Watch this until the very end, because I promise you, by the time we're done, you'll never look at women, or yourself, the same way again. Let me also challenge you right now. What if the reason she doesn't want you isn't about her at all? What if it's about the way you show up in the world? What if the problem is that you've been acting like the man she should want instead of being the man who doesn't need her to want him? Think about that for a moment. That's the shift we're about to make. So, let's get into it. 1. Stop seeking her approval. Let's cut straight to the core. The biggest reason most men struggle with attraction is that they hand over their power the moment they meet a woman. You don't realize it, but everything you're doing screams, "Please like me, please choose me." And the second she senses that, the game is already over, because desire doesn't grow where there's neediness. Desire grows where there's strength. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Do you understand what that means in relationships? It means her reaction is outside of your control. Whether she laughs at your joke, whether she texts you back, whether she even acknowledges you, that's outside your power. But what is in your power is how you carry yourself. When you chase her approval, you abandon your own. Think about the times you've tried to impress a woman. You dressed differently than you normally do. You pretended to like music or movies you don't care about. You went along with conversations you weren't interested in. You bent yourself into a shape you thought would fit her expectations. And maybe she smiled politely. Maybe she gave you her number. Maybe she even went out with you. But did she truly desire you? Or did she just tolerate you? Here's the paradox. The less you need her approval, the more attractive you become. Why? Because confidence is magnetic. A man who validates himself, who isn't looking for someone else to fill his void, is a man women notice. That's why the so-called bad boys get attention. It's not because they're bad. It's because they live by their own rules, unapologetically. Now, I'm not telling you to be rude, arrogant, or disrespectful. Don't confuse self-respect with cruelty. What I am telling you is this. The moment you stop performing for women is the moment they start looking at you differently. Let me ask you a question, and be brutally honest with yourself. How much of what you do around women is about who you really are, and how much is about who you think they want you to be? If the majority of it is performance, then you're not showing her yourself. You're showing her a mask. And women are smarter than you think. They see right through it. The men who inspire desire aren't trying to impress. They're too busy being themselves, chasing their goals and living fully. That's why women chase them. Because women don't want to be your purpose. They want to be drawn into your purpose. So the first step, the first shift is this. Stop seeking her approval. Seek your own. Set your standards. Stand by them. Ask yourself daily, am I living in a way that I respect? If the answer is yes, then you've already won. 2. Master emotional control. Now let's talk about something that separates boys from men and men from leaders: emotional control. Because if you can't control yourself, you'll never attract a woman's respect, let alone her desire. Let me paint you a picture. You meet a woman. You like her. You're texting back and forth. And then suddenly she stops responding. What do most men do? They panic. They send 3 more texts. They start overthinking. Did I say something wrong? Is she talking to another guy? Did I ruin it? They spiral. And the next time she replies, they respond instantly, trying to make up for lost ground. And what does that tell her? That your emotions are in her hands, that her attention is your oxygen. And that's when she loses interest. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And bravery isn't just about running into battle. It's about being unshaken when the world tests you. It's about remaining grounded when others would crumble. When a woman tests your patience, when she pulls away, when she challenges you, those are not moments to collapse. They are moments to demonstrate control. Do you know what emotional control looks like in practice? It looks like patience. It looks like not reacting to every little thing. It looks like keeping your cool when other men would lose it. When she doesn't text back, you keep living your life. When she cancels plans, you don't beg, you don't sulk. You adjust and keep moving. When she tries to provoke you, you don't explode. You smile and you carry on. This isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering them. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, taught that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Attraction works the same way. It's not about whether she pulls away, tests you, or even rejects you. It's about how you respond. A man with emotional control communicates one powerful message without saying a word. I am bigger than this moment. I am not controlled by you. I am in control of myself. That right there is irresistible. Because every woman wants to feel safe in the presence of a man. And safety isn't just physical. It's emotional. A woman feels safe with a man who cannot be shaken by her moods, her words, or her silence. Now, let me challenge you with this. If you cannot control yourself when she withdraws, how will she ever trust you when life throws real challenges at you? How will she trust you to handle conflict, to lead a family, to carry responsibility? I need you to really let that sink in. Because the men who win in relationships are not the ones who never feel emotion. They're the ones who master it. Let me give you a modern example. Think about athletes at the top of their game. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo. When the pressure was highest, when everything was on the line, did they lose themselves? Number. They locked in. They thrived in the moment. That's emotional control. And that's the same quality you need to bring into your interactions with women. When you master emotional control, you become unpredictable in the best way. You stop being the man who reacts to her every move. Instead, you become the man who leads the dance, who sets the tone, who remains steady while she tests the waters. And here's the secret. Women test men constantly, often without even realizing it. Every delayed text, every sarcastic comment, every push and pull moment is her way of asking, can you handle me? Can you handle life? If your answer is yes, not through words, but through calm action, she will feel something she didn't expect. Respect. And from respect grows attraction. So here's the challenge I'll leave you with until we move to the next step. The next time a woman does something that triggers you, a silence, a rejection, a test, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, what would the strongest version of me do right now? And then do that. That's how you begin mastering emotional control. 3. Build an unshakable mission. Let me be blunt with you. If your life revolves around women, you will always lose with women. Period. Women are not looking to be your entire purpose. They're looking to be part of a man's journey, a man whose mission is bigger than them. When your mission is unclear, you wander through life waiting for someone to give you direction. But when you have a mission, you don't wait, you move. And movement is magnetic. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." Let that sit for a moment. Because if your greatest ambition is to win over a woman, then you've already limited your worth to her response. But if your ambition is to build, to create, to leave something behind that matters, then your worth expands beyond what anyone else thinks. Now ask yourself, what is your mission? Not your job, not your hobbies, your mission. The thing you wake up for. The thing that fuels you when life gets hard. If you don't know, that's your first assignment. Find it, because without it, you'll keep making women your mission. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who makes her the center of his universe. Think of it like this. Picture a train. The train has tracks, it has a destination, it has momentum. A woman doesn't want to be the driver. She doesn't want to build the train. She wants to ride with you. She wants to feel like she's part of something that's moving forward. But if your life has no direction, there's no train for her to board. History is full of men who were defined not by women, but by mission. Alexander the Great didn't conquer half the known world because he was trying to impress someone. He did it because his mission consumed him. Modern examples? Think of Elon Musk. Agree with him or not, women are drawn to him because he's consumed by his mission to change humanity's future. That passion, that fire, is intoxicating. Now here's the dangerous trap. Many of you confuse distraction with mission. You think playing video games for 8 hours a day is your mission. You think binge-watching shows is your mission. You think posting online is your mission. It's not. Your mission has to matter. It has to pull something out of you. It has to make you grow, bleed, and sacrifice. That's where your masculine energy comes alive. So I'll ask you a mind-blowing question. If every woman disappeared from the planet tomorrow, what would you still get up and do? If your answer is nothing, then that's why women don't see you as magnetic. But if your answer is build, grow, create, lead, protect, inspire, then you're on the path to becoming unstoppable. Women don't fall for men because of how much those men love them. Women fall for men who are so locked into their mission that love feels like a bonus, not the main prize. 4. Command respect before affection. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood truths about attraction. Women respect before they desire. If a woman doesn't respect you, she can never truly want you. This is where so many men fail. You confuse affection with respect. You think that because she smiles, because she hugs you, because she says you're sweet, that she respects you, but often she doesn't. She might like you, she might enjoy your company, but respect? That's a whole different level. Seneca once wrote, It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Translate that into relationships. The man who craves affection without demanding respect is poor in spirit. He's empty. And women sense it immediately. Respect comes from boundaries, from standards, from being willing to walk away. When you allow a woman to walk all over you, to test you without consequence, to disrespect your time, your energy, or your values, she may smile in your face, but inside she's losing respect for you. And with that respect goes attraction. Let me make this practical. If a woman cancels on you last minute and you respond with, "It's fine, whenever you're free," you've just lowered your value. If a woman flirts with other men in front of you and you brush it off to avoid conflict, you've just lowered your value. If a woman mocks your ambitions and you laugh along, you've just lowered your value. Respect isn't about raising your voice or making demands. It's about calmly enforcing your boundaries. Do you know why so many women end up obsessed with men they claim to hate? Because those men command respect. They don't bend, they don't break. They stand tall, and women can't help but feel the gravity of that. So ask yourself, what's more important to you? Her affection today or her respect for a lifetime? Because affection without respect is fragile. It breaks the second she gets bored, but respect builds roots. From respect, love grows. From respect, desire grows. From respect, obsession grows. Now here's the kicker. Respect starts with you. You cannot demand from her what you don't demand from yourself. If you disrespect your own body, your own time, your own word, why should she respect you? When you tell yourself you'll hit the gym but you skip it, you've disrespected yourself. When you waste hours scrolling, you've disrespected yourself. When you tolerate nonsense in your own life, you've disrespected yourself. Respect is magnetic because it starts from within. So the next time you're tempted to let something slide because you're afraid of losing her, ask yourself, am I protecting my respect or am I trading it for affection? Because once you trade respect for affection, you've already lost. 5. Become comfortable with rejection. Let's face it, rejection terrifies most men. The thought of putting yourself out there and being told no paralyzes you, and because of that fear, you settle, you stay silent, you avoid risk, and in doing so, you kill your own potential. But here's the twist. Rejection is not your enemy. Rejection is your training ground. Every rejection makes you stronger, sharper, and more resilient. And more importantly, rejection is the only way to separate women who were never going to want you from those who will. Epictetus taught, "It is difficulties that show what men are." Rejection is one of those difficulties. It shows whether you're a boy pretending to be a man or a man who cannot be broken. Women can sense this difference immediately. A man who fears rejection radiates desperation. A man who embraces rejection radiates freedom. Let me ask you something. What would you attempt with women if you were no longer afraid of being rejected? How boldly would you approach? How authentically would you speak? How many risks would you take? That's the man women want, the man who is fearless in the face of no. Here's the secret. When you stop fearing rejection, women stop rejecting you. Because you're no longer approaching from a place of fear. You're approaching from a place of abundance. You don't need her, you want her. And if she says no, you keep moving because you know your worth doesn't depend on her yes. Modern culture conditions men to avoid discomfort. Swipe apps make it easy to avoid face-to-face rejection. Social media makes it easy to live in a bubble. But if you want to be truly magnetic, you need to get comfortable with real-world rejection. You need to take the shot, risk the no, and stand tall when it comes. Here's the crazy part. Women test you with rejection all the time. She says she's busy. She ignores your call. She acts uninterested. And most men crumble. But the man who takes it in stride? The man who doesn't beg or chase, who simply nods and moves forward? That man flips the script. Because now she's the one wondering, why didn't he care? Why didn't he try harder? Who is this man who doesn't need me? That's when the seed of desire is planted. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Make rejection your teacher. Every time it happens, write down what you learned. Build resilience like a muscle. Because the man who cannot be shaken by rejection is the man every woman secretly wants. 6. Cultivate mystery and depth. Here's the truth about desire. It thrives on curiosity. A woman can only want more of you if she feels like she hasn't figured you out completely. But most men kill attraction by laying everything on the table right away. You overshare. You tell her your life story on the first date. You text her constantly. You reveal every detail of your schedule, your feelings, your routines. And in doing so, you leave her nothing to wonder about, nothing to chase. Mystery isn't about playing games. It's about depth. It's about having layers that she can discover over time. Think of yourself like a book. If the first page tells her everything, why would she keep reading? But if every chapter reveals something new, she's hooked. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If all your thoughts are shallow, gossip, distractions, complaints, then your soul has no depth. But if you feed your mind with philosophy, art, history, growth, then your presence carries weight. Women feel that. They don't just want your body. They want to explore your mind. Now ask yourself, when a woman talks to you, does she walk away thinking, I've heard this 1,000 times before? Or does she walk away thinking, there's something different about him? I want to know more. That difference comes from cultivating mystery and depth. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you're on a date. Instead of spilling every detail about your life, you share glimpses. You let her ask questions. You give pieces, not the whole puzzle. You listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, you speak with substance about your goals, your philosophies, your experiences. That leaves her leaning in. That leaves her wondering. Depth also comes from silence. Most men fear silence with women. You think if there's a pause in conversation, you're losing her. But silence, when carried with confidence, creates tension. It forces her to feel the space between you. And that space is where attraction builds. Think of modern figures who embody mystery. Keanu Reeves, for example. He's respected and desired not just for his talent, but because he doesn't constantly broadcast his life. There's an aura of humility, privacy, and depth around him. Women lean in because they want to know more. So here's your challenge. Stop being an open book on page 1. Let her read you chapter by chapter. Develop depth through learning, through living, through growth. And carry mystery by not giving it all away. Attraction lives in the unknown. 7. Lead with strength, not need. This is the final, and maybe the most important, truth. At the core of female desire is one question. Can this man lead? Not in the sense of controlling her, not in the sense of domination, but in the sense of guidance, stability, and direction. Leadership is masculine energy at its peak, and yet most men today avoid it. You think being a nice guy means letting her decide everything. You think being respectful means staying passive. You think being modern means erasing masculine leadership. But here's the reality. Women still crave it, because leadership is safety. Leadership is clarity. Leadership is freedom. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's where leadership begins, self-mastery. If you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead a woman. If you cannot make decisions, hold a vision, and stand firm in storms, then she cannot trust you. And if she cannot trust you, she cannot desire you. Think about how attraction actually works. When a woman says, "I don't know what I want to eat," she's not testing your culinary skills. She's testing your leadership. When she creates drama, she's not looking for chaos. She's testing your ability to remain grounded and lead through it. When she hesitates, she's asking silently, "Can you show me the way?" And here's the mistake most men make. You confuse leadership with need. You try to lead because you're afraid of losing her. You make decisions not out of strength, but out of desperation to keep her happy. That's not leadership. That's weakness disguised as action. Real leadership says, "I know where I'm going. You're welcome to join me, but I don't need you to follow." That is intoxicating to women, because when you lead from strength, she feels both secure and free. She knows she doesn't have to carry the weight. She knows she doesn't have to be the anchor. She can relax into her femininity because your masculinity is steady. Modern examples. Look at men like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Whether you like him or not, his energy screams leadership. He takes charge, he makes decisions, and he owns his direction. That confidence radiates, and women respond to it instinctively. So let me hit you with a hard question. Are you leading from strength or from need? Are you making decisions because they align with your vision, or because you're scared she'll leave if you don't? Women can feel the difference instantly. One inspires trust, the other inspires pity. The truth is, if you want to make a woman want you, even when she wasn't interested at first, leadership is the key. Because leadership transforms her view of you from just another guy into the man she can't forget.